What's up everyone, Vu of NVU Films back with another video, and today's video will be about wedding videography, filmmaking, or cinematography, whatever it is that you want to call it. And that pretty much sums up the issue, right? What do you call what we do? Generally speaking, I think wedding videography is enough. But the reason why a lot of us say filmmaking or cinematography is because when you say videography, you do not get the respect that you deserve as a creative, as a storyteller, artist, whatever drives your passion with your work involving video. Wedding videographers are generally disrespected all across the board. And this is not me complaining. This is just something that I've learned to live with, and I think many other videographers have learned to live with. And I think most of you that are up and coming, new to the videography space and are getting into wedding videography, you should learn to live with this, is that you will constantly be disrespected. Not by everyone, but I would say a good majority of people that you associate with, okay? That includes colleagues, clients, friends, and family. I mean, firstly, if you look at wedding video as a whole, wedding videographers, we are considered the bottom of the barrel in terms of video professionals. You know, I think tier is something like Hollywood filmmaking, you know, high-end TV series and stuff like that. And then you have wedding videographers. And in my opinion, as a guy who does documentary work, commercial work, and wedding video work, and I actually just lump in wedding video with documentary work, and I'll explain to you this in a second. But pretty much, my belief is that there's no hierarchy of videography respectability. What I'm saying is we are all pretty much equal regardless of what our camera is pointing at. It could be pointing at a bride. It could be pointing at a documentary subject. It could be pointing at an actor or actress on a Hollywood movie set. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it is the quality of work you produce regardless of the content that is being produced. So, case in point, you could scroll through like Netflix and Amazon Prime, HBO Max, you name it, and you will find these filmmakers create films on these platforms for you to watch, and a large chunk of it is absolute dumpster trash. At the same time, you could pull up any wedding videographer's portfolio, the good ones. Their films are absolutely amazing. Amazingly filmed, edited, the storytelling is on point. It is the complete package of filmmaking. But because it is associated with a wedding, for some reason it is, it's only wedding video, which is complete bullshit. I know there's plenty of wedding videographers that produce work that isn't great. You know, you're talking about Uncle Bob with his rocket launcher, camcorder, or just any new guy that comes onto the scene and just slaps a wide angle lens on his gimbal and just films the whole day at like 20 millimeters. And the video looks disgusting. But just as in any line of video work, whether it be corporate, commercial, Hollywood, wedding video is no different. There's great, there's good, and there's bad. And the great films that wedding videographers produce is just as great as any Hollywood level, popular TV show level of work. I mean, of course, without like the mainstream appeal, it's kind of like more based amongst the couple and, whoever's a fan of this videographer's work, but still great filmmaking is great filmmaking, regardless of the content. I'm sure you all have heard it. You go into any Facebook forum or any other videography, related, or any other place where you could, discuss videography amongst other videographers and quote unquote filmmakers. And you get into an argument about cameras or color grading or this, that, and the other. And the next thing you know, the guy who does like studio work or commercial work, or maybe is, a cameraman on a short film, will start saying like, oh, I work on feature films. I don't do wedding video. As a way to, one, give himself the credibility above the quote unquote lowly wedding videographer to prove his opinion right, because he is a filmmaker and the wedding video is just a wedding video guy. It's just straight trash. Your opinion doesn't matter about this because I work on legit films and you are a wedding video. You are a wedding video dude. I'll be honest, straight honest with you, as a person who does, corporate, commercial, wedding video, I don't care if you come up to me with a Red and our Alexa. You could throw at me, your award-winning, whatever, I'm award-winning this, I'm award-winning that. I shoot on this set, whatever. It doesn't impress me, Same goes as dudes come up who say, oh yeah, I'm a CPA, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor. None of this impresses me, These are just labels and titles that you may or may not have came up yourself. You went to school for, read some books, passed some tests, and then got like these credentials. But show me like something you've done. Like, did you do some brain surgery? Did you save this guy's life? Did you prove someone innocent, in court? Did you actually produce a film worth watching? So that is that. To me, if you are a videographer, you're a filmmaker, you're a cinematographer, whatever it is that you are, doesn't matter what you're filming, wedding, Hollywood stuff, or whatever, you're only good as what you produce. And if you're producing trash films, you're trash. If you're producing trash wedding video, you're trash. If you're shooting great wedding films, you're great. Man, if you're shooting great Hollywood stuff, you're great. It doesn't matter. Videographers are videographers. To me, it is my opinion, whatever. To be quite honest with you, I know a lot of dudes who do wedding video and want to get out of it and go into doing like commercial work, corporate work, because of money and like the prestige of it, like that you somehow leveled up. You didn't. You know what I mean? You're just doing work. You're just filming different stuff. You're not leveling up. But straight up, corporate videography is boring as shit because there's no real storytelling. A lot of times it's just corporate bullshit. The reason why we don't work in corporate stuff, doing our accounting or ITs or whatever, pushing papers of the cubicle, and we'd rather do video, is because video is supposed to be creative. Video is supposed to get your creative juices flowing. When you go do like these corporate stuff, you're pretty much just going right back into where you try to leave. You're sitting there just recording people do their corporate spiel. You're supposed to feel like all this stuff, all these corporate accomplishments and, selling this and selling that is amazing stuff. But at the end of the day, that crap is boring. And a lot of times it's just BS. It's just sales pitches. It's just marketing. It is what it is. There's no depth to it other than trying to make money, right? And then when you go into corporate a lot, you're going in there to use your camera to pretty much make money. Maybe, you get the chance to do some creativity there, but at the end of the day, your final product lacks depth. Okay, cool. You have some nice imagery. You might have some graphics on there, but it is just an advertisement. It is just selling and pretty much just more corporate BS. And the reason why I enjoy wedding video is because I don't really treat wedding video like I'm some event videographer and I'm just going out there to film like quote unquote someone's wedding. I treat it like I'm filming a documentary. It doesn't matter if I am going out to meet some guy in the woods and I'm filming his day about how he hunts and self-sustains his food, or, the fisherman that goes out, early in the morning and fishes, telling his story, or the boxer training for his next boxing match. I'm going through his trials and tribulations. It's no different than me going and following a bride and groom around to film the most, important day of their lives. It's their wedding. It is storytelling. I go there to document someone's life, a day in someone's life, and I'm going to craft, create, and edit a story out of the footage and the audio I get throughout the day to create a film. For lack of a better word, a cinematic experience, just like any documentary you watch in the theater or Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever. I'm here to film a documentary about a bride and groom. I'm not a wedding videographer. I'm a documentary filmmaker for this couple who is getting married. That is how I approach wedding films, wedding videography. And you may agree or not agree, but as long as I keep that mindset, I am able to keep the wedding film authentic and not, just sit there and film flowers and details all day. I'm filming people, I'm capturing emotion, and I'm telling a story. With that said, a lot of times you work with clients that really don't respect fully what you're doing, because oftentimes wedding videographers are the last ones booked. We are very much considered a luxury item. Not necessarily, but by pricing, means as luxury, but like an item that people don't necessarily need, but they want to have just because it might be cool and they might like the video aspect of it. But you always have to have a photographer there. You always need your catering, your food, your flowers, your dress, makeup, and all that stuff. But videographers are not necessarily in demand. We are probably at 10 to 15% of weddings. Every photographer I talk to, they say about 1 out of 10 or so weddings that they photograph has a wedding videographer there as well. There's still a lot of ground for us to cover in terms of being able to be at, most weddings that take place. But the reality is right now, we aren't really that valued as much. And, there's probably more higher paid photographers that could consistently book than there are videographers that get booked, because I think people just don't really, sometimes we're not looked at as artists. Even some photographers would kind of come in and, obviously I've worked with plenty of great photographers that, we completely collaborate and work with, but I've also worked with some that pretty much just kind of looks at me like I'm just this tech guy here and just over here is recording stuff. They don't really consider it being like artistic, like, photography would be, with the film and stuff. They kind of just look at us like these technological dudes doing video. And it's BS, yes. And, that's why you got to make sure you educate the client on what's going on. Your website, wherever the clients are finding you at, needs to present yourself in a certain way. But oftentimes, we just aren't taken at the same level of seriousness as the photographer. And, maybe it's because we're not as vocal as photographer. A lot of photographers usually directing and telling people to do a lot of things. A lot of times photographers even build the bride and groom's timeline throughout the day. Whereas we, for the most part, videographers, we do some directing, not as much as a photographer. And we're kind of behind the scenes. We're kind of capturing candid stuff, getting creative things when we can, setting up lighting and stuff when we can, to get the shots that, we want to get. But for the most part, we are very stealthy and behind the scenes. And that level of respect for us is not always there. And then, you could even look at your friends and family. You tell, your mom and dad would much rather, at least in my culture, Asian culture, would much rather tell their friends and family that, hey, my son is a CPA, my son is a doctor, my son is a lawyer, my son does, whatever. But it's really tough for them to say, oh yeah, my son does video, he's a videographer. And then immediately people kind of wonder if I'm starving or if I have enough money or not. Thankfully, I believe my parents' tone and my family's tone has changed on that, because I have had a measure of success doing video, and I've maintained it for quite some time now. So, they have a little more trust that, I'm self-sufficient, I'm providing for my family, wife and 2 kids, no problem. But yeah, and sometimes your friends too, like amongst friends, there's like stigma with people who work weekends that they're working low-end jobs or something. So, you end up missing out on a lot of events on the weekends, and, you may or may not even get invited because they feel like you're probably not even available to go, or, they don't, treat you like you are part of that status of success where you're doing financials, your medicals, your accountants, your engineers, those big smart people degrees that are known to just be more prestigious. And then you have the dude who does video. Doesn't really say much, but it is just the life of a wedding videographer. For all of my wedding videographer colleagues out there, we know what's up, right? We know that we are filming amazing shit when shit is hitting the fan, when you have a messy hotel room, when it's raining outside, when the lighting in this venue is not great, when the mother of the bride is all up in your face the whole entire day. Things are running behind schedule. Things are happening. People forget to tell you it's happening. You got to run around all day and consistently create great footage. And then we all know for sure that when we go into a studio environment or go into some corporate office and we get to pretty much relax, set up great lighting, set up great audio, and film great footage without the pressure of and the unpredictability of weddings, we're going to create great work, period. There are definitely aspects of working on a set with multiple other different people doing different things that wedding videographers may not be familiar with. But I'm sure give us a week and we'll figure it out, because we are used to filming crap in the most intense situations, and we have the great pressure of getting the shot that first time without retakes, and we do it all the time consistently. So that is that. And hopefully, as the industry progresses and more wedding videographers advance, and there's more and more highly skilled wedding videographers, that our reputation will start getting better, and people will notice us more as a necessity for weddings, but also as legit filmmakers out here, creating something amazing for our clients for, decades and decades to come. I guess you would call this a little rant, but that is the truth about wedding videography and wedding videographers in general, and how we are viewed, what we have to deal with. And till next time, to all my wedding videographers, keep doing your thing, keep improving, keep looking to tell better stories. However it is you do it, handheld, gimbal, on tripod, whatever camera brand, Canon, Panasonic, Sony, Fujifilm, Blackmagic, and the other brand, just keep making authentic films and keep telling those authentic stories, and you'll be fine. Till next time, lighten up.
Hey man, what you edit?
Just another wedding film, making sure the bills get paid.
Oh my god, you track wedding video It's not filmmaking. It's just beginner video.
What are you, DP or something?
No, man, I don't double penetrate. It's dirty video.
Bro, I meant director of photography. But anyway, wedding filmmaking is the same thing as documentary filmmaking. There's no difference between documenting a couple's day and documenting some random dude or business or whatever documentary you're doing.
Let me show you. This is a guy. He used to shoot Sony, but he transitioned to Canon because Canon have the best color shine.
Let me guess, this was award-winning?
Peter McKinnon top 10,000 film up 2023.